I have a question for you. Let's say you just went to the store, you bought this half gallon of milk, you brought it home and it has an expiration date 10 days from now. Looks great, you're warm because it's summertime, and so you open that lid and you pour yourself a nice cool glass of milk. How long do you have to finish that milk before it goes bad now that you opened it? Stay tuned because I'm going to tell you the answer in just a minute, and it's probably not what you think. Hi, it's Robin with SeniorSafetyAdvice.com. If you aren't already subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and hit that subscription button down in the corner. It's free to subscribe, and we put out videos every Friday with tips and tricks for aging in place safely. That way, you're not going to miss any of our good hints. So anyway, back to the milk question. If you answered that you had the 10 days till the expiration date and then a few days after that before the milk goes bad, you are sadly wrong. I am sorry to tell you. So this question came up because when my father was alive, after my mother passed away, I would go and see him every Friday, and he always had problems with his stomach. He would say to me, had to run for the bathroom again, or boy, was I nauseous this week, or whatever. So it occurred to me, my mother always took care of the food preparation. I started looking at his expiration dates and realizing that he was doing things like in my scenario that I talked about at the beginning. He was buying milk that had a 10-day code, for example. He was opening it that day. He was drinking it for the entire 10 days and then for another couple of days beyond that because he thought that's how expiration dates worked. I figured again that it was just because my mother took care of those things and that's why he didn't realize it. But since I have found through asking this question of other people that many people do not realize this. Once you have opened a container of that milk, dairy products like yogurt, deli meats, ground beef, I'm trying to think, anything like that anyway. Once you have opened that container, you have introduced bacteria into that container. Your expiration date that's printed on that container is no longer good. It is obsolete. That means the countdown has started for when the food spoils from the day that you opened it. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that because I want you to stay safe and healthy. So the first thing is do you even know expiration dates are not required by law? How about that? That was news to me. Actually, some states do require by law that dairy products like milk be labeled with an expiration date, but it isn't actually a federal law requirement. It's more to help the stores know when to get rid of the bad food or the less quality food and bring in new food. And I'm going to amend that and say actually expiration dates are required on baby food and products like that for babies, but that's the only item that they are required for. So manufacturers are also not required to put a sell-by date or expiration date, that kind of thing, on meat or deli, things like that either. It's all voluntary. And on top of that, stores are not mandated by law to remove expired products from their shelves. So the big thing here is you want to be very aware when you do your shopping of your expiration codes and the best by dates and sell by dates that you find on the products that you're going to purchase. Here's a story. My husband picked up a jar of mayonnaise a while back. He thought he had checked the expiration code, but however, it got messed up and he did not check it. And so when we got it home, we found out that mayonnaise was nearly a year out of code. Now, it hadn't been opened, but who would ever want to take the chance of eating something that was expired for nearly a year? So back to the store it went. So here are some things that you need to know about expiration dates, best by dates, and those kinds of things, and what the difference is between them. So an expiration date means Do not eat it past that date. It's no good after that, even if it is unopened. A best by date or a used by date on a product is actually just a suggestion. The product usually is something like a boxed cake mix or a can of green beans, canned goods, something like that, pasta sauce in a jar. And those dates are not hard and fast rules. So it just means that the quality will probably be less if you eat it after that date. And then a sell by date means that the food is good after that date. Again, the quality just may not be as good. Okay, so how long are these products good for? Well, milk is good for 1 week past the sell by date if it's unopened. Uncooked eggs are good for 3 to 5 weeks past the sell by date. Once you hard boil them, that boiling actually compromises the shell, so it allows bacteria in, and so they are no longer good for that 3 to 5 weeks. They're only good for 1 week. Fresh chicken, turkey, and ground meat should either be cooked or should be frozen within 2 days. Fresh beef, pork, and lamb should be cooked or frozen within 3 days. So some food storage tips. Again, if you have opened the package of dairy, meat, things like that, the expiration date is not any good anymore. You need to make sure that you toss them within a reasonable time, say 5 days after opening, because you have introduced bacteria, and so that expiration date no longer applies. Any leftovers that you cook for dinner and then you want to save, they need to be refrigerated, and they are only good for 3 to 5 days afterwards. Just like in a grocery store, you want to rotate your stock that you have in your pantry or in your refrigerator. So if you come home with a jar of pasta sauce and you already have one on the shelf, make sure that you put the new pasta sauce behind the old pasta sauce and use the old one first. If you've ever seen a bulging can, like you can push on the top or the bottom of it and it pushes in instead of being solid, you want to make sure that you toss that, because the seal has been compromised and that food will give you food poisoning. And of course, don't buy it if you find one on the shelf like that. Because it's summertime, I know a lot of people, especially since they couldn't last year, are planning on having summer picnics with friends or relatives. So I wanted to tell you that food, perishable food, is going to spoil if it's left out for more than 1 hour in the summer heat. Now, that same stuff you could have in the house, in the air conditioning, if you're having a get-together, but it really should be refrigerated after 2 hours, because that's when it starts to turn. You cannot tell by the smell or the taste of a food whether or not it is spoiled, unless it's like really spoiled. So I have a handy-dandy tip. Once you have opened something, use a Sharpie marker to write on the package when you opened it, or count 3 to 5 days, count 5 days after, and then write that date down on the package, and then you will know when you take a look at that deli meat or that half gallon of milk, whatever, that it is time to toss it. You can buy labels if you want to. I will put a link down in the description below so that you can purchase them and write them out yourself. You can also buy pre-printed labels off of Amazon. Again, I will put that link down below. But what I did is masking tape. Here we go, masking tape here. You could put that actually on a package of deli meat, for example, or on the hamburgers that you have put away in the refrigerator. Write with a Sharpie marker when they expire, and then you will know. Same thing, this is an address label, same thing. You can do that with a package, but as you can see, they don't stick real well to a wet milk container. So what I did instead is I took a Sharpie marker and I wrote on the top of this one, you can see the expiration date, but I also wrote when, because this is open, when it really expires and should be getting tossed. So you probably want to wipe it off a little bit. I wrote it here first and the jug was wet, and you can see it didn't work quite as well. So I put it on the dry part, and that will make it stick much easier. So I hope that makes it a little easier for you to keep everything in the refrigerator straight so you don't have to remember it in your head and you know when to toss things before they get bad. So the point of all of this is make sure to adhere to these food safety and food storage rules and you will stay much safer. So thank you very much for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscription button down in the corner and also the notification bell when it pops up, and that way you will never miss one of our informative videos. So until next time, stay safe, enjoy your summer. Thanks. Bye.